Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Deltasig download. I am Caitlin Kaminsky, your 2021 South Central Provincial Collegian of the Year, or COI.
And I'm Christina Block, your 2022 South Central Provincial COI. Welcome back to the episode.
Yes. Can you believe it is already April?
It is so crazy. The year is flying by.
Absolutely. I was thinking it's been what now, 2 months since I saw you in person at the South Central Lead here in
Yeah,
Kansas.
almost right on the dot, which is crazy.
That is wild. It was such a fun time. I know we got to give a session together, which was a great time, and just seeing everyone come together. The turnout was awesome. Was great.
Yeah, I thought so. It was a short trip for me, only being about 4 hours, but it was a 15-minute drive for you, which is nice.
Yes, I definitely got the good end of the stick there. And I do want to say congrats to our 2023 South Central Provincial Collegian of the Year, Michelle Mars from the University of Central Missouri, or Iota Omicron. So yay! Excited to have you.
Yes. And the week after, I believe, maybe 2 weeks after, we saw
Yeah.
the National Collegian of the Year get named Cindy Sampson-Webb from the University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee from the Xi Kai chapter. So awesome to welcome Sydney to the board of directors.
Yes, looking forward to see all that she's able to do and what kind of comes next. I know it's going to be a crazy year as we're looking forward to GCC.
Yep, absolutely.
But another fun event is coming up this month. National Alumni Day is April 25th. So hopefully everyone is getting super excited. I know I am. This is a great opportunity for all of us as brothers to come together to celebrate all that alumni do and, just have an excuse to re-engage alumni for you collegiate chapters out there. This is the perfect chance to really snag and plan an alumni event.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way to get updated your contact list for your alumni. You probably should have already been planning that, but if you haven't already, you still have some time. Make sure that you're reaching out through social media, through email, through text, all of the things. Put it on your Instagram stories, put it on your Facebooks. And that's just a great way to get connected. Even if you're not planning an event, just make sure that you have contacts. And for newsletters, make sure that you're recognizing your alumni in your newsletters too.
Yes, absolutely. We do love to hear from you, speaking as an alumni. So get in touch with us. And if you are having questions about, how to get an alumni list or where those reports are, I know that the full list can be sent to you from, if you request it from alumni@hub.org or org.org, as well as there is like a lost alumni report that you're able to pull in the hub. So definitely some options out there as you're looking to re-engage people for the 25th coming up.
Yeah, speaking of lost alumni reports, I was just scrolling through the website earlier. And if you are an alumni just looking to do something, or even if you're a collegiate, maybe an older collegiate, and you want to go to the lost member update, you can see all of the lost members per chapter, and you can help re-engage those alumni too. So I know that there's some people on my list from my chapter that I can text and get their new address that we need. So that is
Yeah,
something to do, something quick and easy, especially if you already know those people.
absolutely. I love that. I didn't know that resource was out there. So that's great to know. But another great resource is, in general, money. So something that we also do on Alumni Day is do a kind of a day of raising, maybe. It's a day drive where we as alumni try to come together to raise money for the annual fund. And also chapters are able to do drives for their chapter leadership funds.
Yep.
So hopefully you have some things in progress for that. As you're reaching out to alumni, do not be afraid to ask for money, especially as you guys are prepping to go to Grand Chapter Congress. We all know it's expensive. We've all been there. And sometimes all you have to do is ask.
Yep. Especially for Alumni Day. A lot of us at least do a $4.25 donation to honor that April 25th date. So that's something super quick and easy and relatively cheap, but can definitely add up if you have a lot of people participating.
Yes, absolutely. And there's other events kind of associated with Alumni Day that are coming up that we want to make sure are on everyone's radar. On the 24th of April, Jennifer Mays, our National Alumni Development Committee Chair, is actually hosting a webinar on involvement opportunities as an Alumni Day celebration. So the point of this webinar will be to network with other members, kind of provide an overview of the benefits of alumni life, kind of go through ways to stay involved as an alumni, and then also hear about how the Leadership Foundation programs are benefiting both our collegiate and alumni members. So that'll be super exciting to kind of hear more about where our money is going, but also just have more opportunities to connect with one another.
Yeah, definitely. There's also going to be an alumni chapter open house on the 26th. So you can find more information about that on the website. And there's going to be events all around the country. So even if your chapter's not doing an event, maybe a chapter in your region somewhere close is doing an event and you can go gather with them. You don't always have to think about alumni of your chapter. Think about alumni in your area. So here in St. Louis, there's 4 or 5, I might be miscalculating, just in the St. Louis area. So that's a really great resource that you're not only stuck to your alumni, that you can reach out to all of your St. Louis alumni, all of your national alumni, state, whatever. So don't forget about them. There are plenty of events happening all around the country.
Yes, I just want to reiterate that point. I know for me, I say I grew up, quote unquote, in the Gateway region, but I do now live in the Midwest region, and I am just as involved with all of the chapters here as I was in my home chapter. So just because a person is not from your chapter, they are still an alumni and usually would love to get involved with you. So definitely don't be scared to reach out.
Yes, absolutely. And that's another report that's in the hub, the area alumni report, I think is what it's called, or something similar to that. That's a great report for you to do that.
Absolutely. And as we're talking about alumni, I can't help but thinking April is really close to May, which is really close to graduation for some of you. So some of you may be super close to becoming an alumni, and we cannot wait to welcome you to this side of life. But you may be wondering, what exactly does life look like for a Deltasig after college? And I will just start by saying that Deltasig is for a life. You are always a brother, and you are always welcome, no matter what stage of life that you are in, to come to events, to donate, to speak at a chapter, whatever it may be that you're interested in doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that we are Deltasig for life. I love when we use the hashtag Deltasig for life too. It just makes me happy, makes my heart warm. So knowing that we have some seniors that are graduating here in May, hats off to you, caps off to you.
Yes,
that we're going to be welcoming into alumni life. So reach out to an alumni chapter if you have an alumni chapter in your area. If not, there's plenty of ways to get involved, and we're going to go over some of those. So this is obviously not an all-encompassing list because there's plenty of things to do. There's also plenty of things to do that are not collegiate facing. I know a lot of people are nervous talking in front of people, or maybe they aren't wanting to donate. So maybe financial isn't the way to do it. So there's plenty of resources out there and plenty of ways that we can involve all of our alumni.
Yes, absolutely. And, I think kind of starting out from the get-go, you kind of mentioned it, but getting involved with an alumni chapter. If you go out on our website, there's a chapter locator, and it shows all of our active chapters, both collegiate and alumni. So whether you're staying in the area where you're graduating or you're moving someplace else, go out there and check to see if there is an alumni chapter out there. Something I always say about getting involved with an alumni chapter, it is nothing like being involved with the collegiate chapter. It is very much choose your own adventure. You get to decide what events you go to. The events it kind of depends from chapter to chapter, but from what I have seen, a lot of them are really just focused on connecting and networking with other alumni in the area. So it has much more of a social kind of networking vibe. We aren't necessarily bound by CMP guidelines. There is a recognition program that some chapters choose to participate in, but none of those are things that you are required to do by any stretch. So it's truly whatever you want to make of it. And, I think sometimes people get a little intimidated by the idea of like an alumni chapter, but people are super friendly, and it is, and from what I have seen, or in my experiences at least, super low key, and has been one of my favorite things about being an alumni is getting involved with the alumni chapter and just creating new relationships with people who maybe didn't graduate from my chapter but are still alumni in the area. And then just that diversity of backgrounds, whether it's age, what college they went to, the kind of career they're in now, all of those things. It really helps with also like developing mentorship and things like that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I always grab a friend to come with me to an alumni chapter event. Like, I don't want to go by myself. So I'm always grabbing a friend to come with me. But it's a lot of older alumni that
Mhm.
were around prior to being a collegian that I had never met before at my first alumni chapter event. And I was like, who are you? I need to know more. So it's a great networking resource that it's not the people that you've seen over and over the past 4 years. It's not the same people. You're going to meet new people, especially if you're in a larger area. You're definitely meeting new people, which is really great when you're transitioning out of school life into your professional careers.
Yes, absolutely. And I know a lot of us, at least some point through the year, will also do like community service events or some sort of professional development events, whether it be tours or having someone speak on a particular topic. Like all of those opportunities are there, especially if you speak to someone like wanting that to be the thing. Usually, chapters will help provide the things that the members are looking for. So, highly recommend looking at an alumni chapter, an easy way where you don't necessarily have any crazy responsibility, maybe is how.
Yeah. Definitely. So a couple other things that alumni can do, obviously speaking at chapter events, new alumni orientation should be coming up soon for your graduating seniors. So that's a great way to involve a couple of alumni to do that. Obviously an alumni chapter, serving on a regional, provincial, or national committee, go ahead and talk to your RVPs, PVPs, to get involved with committees, serve as a district director or assistant director, district director. Again, talk to your RVPs. If you're just getting started, just completed your CDL, tier 1 or tier 2, get involved, ask about DD, opening DD or ADD positions.
Yeah, and there are tons of, I just, would talk to, there are tons of resources to help you in either, whether you want to serve on a committee or serve as a district director or assistant district director. I have had the opportunity to do both of those. I currently serve as Midwestern's regional awards committee chair. And I know they had like a training for like what to look for as we went into COI season. I believe we're about to have one for what to look for with applications for chapter awards. So there are resources that'll help kind of train you up. So don't think that they're going to be intimidating or you're like, well, I didn't serve on exec when I was in like college, so like I can't do that. Like we will train you up. Like if that is something you're interested in doing, 100% go for it. And speaking from the district director side of things, kind of the same thing. The website has tons of resources for you. CDL helps train you up for sure, and there are people who are more than welcome to help kind of bounce ideas off of. But I will also say, from a professional development standpoint, both of those opportunities are things that a lot of times people can connect directly back to work. It's giving you leadership experience, opportunities to deal with conflict or kind of manage hard situations at points. And so it's something I will always say, like, I know that I've had conversations with my boss and he has, fully recognized that the things that I'm doing outside of work are directly benefiting me at work. So it's great to always get back to the fraternity, but B, still a good professional development opportunity for you as you're thinking further out about what kinds of things you want to do in your career.
Yeah, speaking of committees, I was just thinking that committees are a great way to get back into alumni life. If you maybe you got married and had kids and you've been out for a while, you haven't been super involved, getting on committees, doing the CDL training is a great way to come back into the scene. And then maybe eventually you go back to collegiate facing DDs, RVPs, etc. From there. So that's a great way to segue into that.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe none of that sounds overly exciting for you. That's totally okay. They're okay, whatever you want to say. One other ways that you can get involved is just getting involved with the Leadership Foundation. That whether or not that means donating, there's lots of things that you can do with the Leadership Foundation. I know I've heard of needing thank you cards to be written, and so helping with stuff like that. There's lots of opportunities with kind of within the Leadership Foundation itself for you to get involved. And again, that doesn't necessarily have to be donating, although you can donate if that's all you want to do as well. They're totally kind of up to your discretion there, but definitely kind of a different lens of things comparatively.
Yeah, definitely. Next is attending national events. Of course, now is a great time with GCC coming up. So if you're in Houston or want to be in Houston, that's a great thing to do. And then we'll have another in a couple of years. So hopefully that's something like that. Or if you want something more close to home, lead school or a lead provincial conference. They're always looking for speakers, especially if you have a topic that maybe relates to your work, something more niche. Maybe that's something that they're looking for you. So you can always reach out about speaking at a national event.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's other things too. When if you're going to a national event, if you're interested, I know they'll usually look for volunteers to sit at the Leadership Foundation table or to like sell raffle tickets. There's lots of things that like if you are interested in attending a national event that you can kind of get involved, or you can just come hang out.
Yep.
You know, you
Yep.
choose your own adventure. That's what I always say as alumni. You choose your own adventure. You get to decide what you want to do afterwards.
Yeah. The other thing that I was going to mention is the volunteer form on the website. So if you have no idea what you want to do and you kind of want somebody to direct you saying, where's the need? Maybe there's a task force out there that you don't know that exists yet, but they're looking for people and you just haven't heard anything about it. The volunteer form is a great way to do that. Somebody will reach out to you and saying, hey, we need some help here researching this. And so the volunteer form can do that, and that can be found on the website. I think if you just Google it, I don't know the directory to it, but I think if you just Google the volunteer leadership form or something like that, it would come up. So that's a great thing to do.
Absolutely. And it'll help direct you, as she said, and get you in contact with the right people. You know, for any of these, opportunities that like a lot of times you can reach out to the RVP in your area, and they can help direct you as well, in addition to the volunteer form.
Yep, absolutely. So I think that's all we have talking about alumni life, unless you think of anything else. So things coming up are officers transition episodes. So we are getting started on that. Since we have officers transitions, I know some people work by school year and some people work by calendar year. So were you a calendar year or school year chapter?
We were a school year. Most of our positions went, I think 4 of our positions went for the full year, and the rest were actually just every semester. So we always had something.
Interesting. Yeah, we primarily went by calendar year. So, but I know there are plenty of people that do school year. So we're talking about officer transitions next. So we'll have that episode coming out soon. And then of course we have GCC, Grand Chapter Congress in Houston. Some of those recommendations are coming out. So be sure to be on the lookout for reading materials and things that are going to be voted on at Grand Chapter in August. So if you haven't already, go ahead and book your travel accommodations and finalize your funding. Ask your business school, ask your work to see if this is a conference that they would be willing to fund.
Yes, absolutely. And if you haven't registered already, the current rate is available until June 1st. So it gets more expensive the closer you go. So especially for our collegiate chapters out there, you do have to at least send one person. Hopefully you're sending more than that, but someone does have to attend. So make sure you're kind of getting that in there. And the other thing that I'll say is, Alumni Day is coming up.
Let's recognize all of our alumni.
Yes.
I know we're kind of talking about ourselves, but as a former collegian, always important to recognize our alumni. So
yes, absolutely. Especially like I was the vice president of alumni relations. So this has always been near and dear to my heart, just because that was one of my favorite positions that I held. And so I've always loved finding ways to engage alumni.
That's awesome. That was always a position that I thought that I wanted. Like if I had more time, then I wanted to do that. I really wanted to get involved with doing the newsletter. I thought I had so many ideas for doing the newsletter, but that was never a position that I held. So if I went back in my life, maybe I would do that. So that's awesome.
That's amazing. Well, thank you all for tuning into this Deltasig download. Keep furthering a higher standard, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.